Good morning, Andrew.
Hi Tish. Yeah,
How are you? You
yeah,
can you
yeah.
can hear me and see me okay, yeah?
Yes, I can hear and see you.
Okay,
Are you
perfect.
on a new device? Because my ankle is
Oh,
still bent.
yeah, I got my screen fixed.
Oh,
Finally,
that's
I
great.
actually went back when I went back to Ireland. I got it done there for I think it cost me 140 euro, whereas here they were looking for 190.
Oh, wow,
Yeah,
that's a big difference.
it's the device isn't while it's fine. They said in Ireland, like it's one of the it's just a ThinkPad. It's one of the best models, and it's quite strong. All I use it for is Zoom. So I didn't necessarily want to go out and buy a new one, but to pay
Uh,
190 to repair it would have been, I might as well have bought a new one at that point. But so it's
yeah, that's
working
true.
perfectly. That's great. So you're back home, I can see.
Yeah, that's true. I I kind of I don't really feel very well. Like I came back
Okay.
at half three
Yeah.
in the morning on Tuesday, and I got immersed into the boiling stuff straight away. Like the gas
Yeah.
cooker didn't work, like the top part with gas
Yeah.
burners, and I had to call like a
Mm,
serviceman
mm, mm.
when I
Okay.
I had to take James to the vet because he had he has like a bald patch on his belly, and they told me he could be allergic to something. One of the
Oh,
options that he
yeah.
could have been
Yeah.
bitten by a flea, but he didn't
Yeah.
have any on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that was quite expensive. That was
Yeah.
like a
Of
hundred and
course.
two euro for
For vets. Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like more expensive than going to a GP.
It is, isn't it? It's ridiculous. And of course, unless you have the animal insured from the time they're born, it's as expensive to pay for insurance, vet insurance for them. Um, yeah, or
Yes.
not from the time they were born, but definitely from the time they were kittens or puppies. Um, so you just had to get straight back into normal.
Routine, yeah. All
Yeah,
the boring
yeah,
stuff.
all
Very.
the boring stuff. Yeah. And when you arrived back and you came into the house, was there any sense of okay, it's okay here, or what way were you feeling about it?
But you were right about, you said like the last time that it's got like various life here. It is, actually.
Yeah,
It's very good.
yeah,
Even when I hear the baby, it somehow makes me feel a little bit
yeah,
better.
yeah, yeah. That there's noise and there's people around you.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
better than being alone.
yeah,
100%.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And when you think of being alone, Andrew, what is it about it? Is it that you go into your head, and your thoughts, you start thinking over your past or over stuff that's going on, or is it just that you miss company?
Probably a bit of both.
A bit of both. Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah,
yesterday, I went to Citizen Information and they told me that, like, my options, like, one of them would be to get, like, disability allowance if my doctor agrees to it.
hmm,
Then I'm not really sure if he would agree.
hmm,
And I'm not
yeah,
sure what I would like to get on it.
yeah,
Because that
yeah,
would mean admitting that I'm kind of, you know.
hmm, hmm, hmm,
And
yeah,
then they gave me all the forms, like, and all the printouts from their website. Uh,
yeah,
and another one is like for rent supplement. So that
hmm,
was kind of a bit overwhelming, all that stuff.
hmm,
Because I don't really want to be here like in June. But then if I'm going to apply for all those things, then I would have to kind of stay.
okay, okay. So why do you, what's the thinking behind you'd have to stay if you apply for?
Well, they will 100% ask for additional documents, and how will I
Hmm,
send it
hmm,
to them if I'm not here?
hmm. Okay, okay. So additional documents meaning for you, what do they mean?
They never approve it straight away. They always ask for
No.
something. Like
Yeah,
they sent you a letter by post, but then, yeah, maybe I could get away with it. I don't know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
when I actually have like an appointment with a psychiatrist on the 9th of June, so I was thinking maybe I could kind of cancel it if needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, or you can just reschedule.
Yeah, just for another time.
You're have you got something booked away for June, or your intention is to book? Yeah,
Yeah, it is. I was actually browsing like Workaway yesterday,
yeah, yeah,
but it's kind of like a lot of things that whereas they're kind of located somewhere in the countryside.
hmm hmm
So I was
hmm
thinking, yeah, I should probably kind of get going like really soon. I sent one proposal yesterday and they replied to me like straight away that they were considering someone else, but they would
yeah,
get back to me. So yeah, I'm thinking of doing it like really soon, maybe today,
yeah,
like just sending
yeah.
a lot of stuff and
Okay,
seeing how it's
so
going.
and of course you would be then away for the period of is it a 3 month, or sometimes I suppose the contracts can be even longer than that.
Um, well, some of them, allow you to stay for just a few days. It's
Yeah.
not a,
Okay. 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 But you
so
could.
I calculated like my
Mhm.
last day in the Schengen area would be like on the 24th of July.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. And if you're working, even if it's seasonal work as such, or transitional work, does that lengthen your ability to stay longer?
Well, I'm not going to apply for anything like.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. 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 So the idea of traveling this way is something you want to do, and applying for social welfare would possibly hinder that a little bit, or you might have to be to here to fill in documents, is it?
Yeah, actually, I might have to wait for a couple of months anyway, because they
Hmm
might
hmm
say like that you're not entitled to it. You still have a lot in your bank account.
Yeah, yeah. I
That's
think
what
with,
they told me like well last time when I applied for supplementary welfare and when I had to appeal that.
yeah, yeah. So they took your bank account into they considered that, yeah?
Yes, they did.
Ah, okay, okay. I'm not sure with disability whether they do that or not.
I'm not even sure if I'd like
Yeah,
to go on that and if my
yeah,
doctor will
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I guess I'll just have to schedule an appointment with him.
yeah,
It
yeah.
probably will be
You know,
for the week like after next.
yeah, yeah. Because not like being on disability, I know it has those connotations of that you're forever not working, but it is only, I suppose, is it only it's a temporary thing. Um, how I would look at it, I suppose, is which is financially, which is a better deal for you, because at some point you can't live off your savings. Um,
Yes, of course,
so
actually.
you need some sort of an income, and I honestly don't know what the back to work scheme, what the allowance is with that. Um, and that runs, I think, for a year. I think you can get the back to work, so the dole, as such as we used to call it. You can get that for a year before you would go drop down to whatever is the job seekers allowance. Isn't that what it's called? Job seekers allowance.
Yeah, it is what.
Before it drops down to, yeah. So have a look into it. It would be, if you could get the application in and not have to supply, if you supplied everything that they needed at the beginning, it would be of more beneficial to you. Although I think you would probably have to sign on. You have to be in the country, don't you, to sign on.
Yeah, sometimes. And
Mm.
the last time when I applied for job seekers, like I had to go to a post office every week to collect it.
Mhm.
But it could be different this time. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you can get it automatically put into your bank account, but I'm not sure how many times in a month you have to appear to sign to say that you're still available for work. I know legally you have to have a particular length of time out of the country. You're allowed to go on holidays. It's not that they're saying you can't leave the country, but then again, it's probably only for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's only for
Um,
2 weeks.
yeah. So, um, if you're traveling and you intend to, but you're saying that there's a particular time in July where you have to be back in the country. You have to be back in
Yeah,
Ireland for the 3 months.
I guess
Yeah,
until the end of
July. So
October.
July, August, September, October. So even for that length of time, if you weren't working, to have some sort of income going into your bank. You mean you're paying tax, Andrew. You're in the country. You're contributing to social welfare payments for everybody else. So it's not, take what you can at this point to make life just a little bit easier for you until you're ready to go back to work.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm not even sure what I'd like to do next.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Whether it's maybe you want to study, maybe is that the facility for you in Ireland now to go back as a mature student?
Like I
Um,
remember I had a degree like that I
mm,
deferred for a year, so
yeah,
maybe I could switch it for something else and
yeah, yeah,
see if
yeah,
there's anything
yeah.
what I'd
See if
like to
there's
do more.
anything else that's suitable. Yeah. Um,
And I'm not even sure if I could do a degree like next September.
mm,
If
mm,
I will
mm.
be have
Yeah, if
enough
you're able. Yeah, you may
energy and
not.
all that.
You may not. And come next September, you might be ready to travel again. I'm sure you will.
Yeah,
September, October, I'm quite sure that you'll be ready to go and visit somewhere else. Gorgeous time of the year. So maybe it's a time that you just take it for yourself and you take the pressure off.
yeah.
Yeah.
A friend actually kind of invited me to visit her, but she lives in Georgia. And to be honest, I don't really want to go there like now.
Georgia.
Yeah, because like
Ah.
the flights are expensive and it takes
Mm.
ages to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe
This is Georgia in the States. Yeah.
oh god no, just the
Where?
just the regular one.
Ah. Okay. Okay.
It's a country like a separate one.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it takes quite a while. And what's stopping apart from, I suppose, the flight's been expensive. That's a huge well, it's a huge problem when you're paying Ryanair flights back and forth to Europe.
Oh, they don't have Ryanair flights there. I
No,
would,
of course not.
and they don't have like any direct flights from Dublin, so I would have to fly from somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah. And then you would have to go for a particular length of time. There'd be no point in going for, you know,
A
just
week.
a few days. Yeah, no, there wouldn't. Exactly. Um, but at least you have options, Andrew. That's the options are opening for you, and so many have opened for you.
Really.
Um, yeah, and maybe it is maybe, your body is telling you that for the next whatever few months, maybe even a year, that this is the time that you need to just heal and repair. Um,
No, that's
you
true.
will know, yeah, you will know yourself when you're ready, to take on a degree or study or to look at employment. Definitely be feeling stronger, and you might be even getting bored doing nothing, or you feel like I'm doing nothing and I would like to do something else. But at the moment, if you're still on two minds as such, if you're thinking, what do I do, or maybe I won't, and that's your body saying, just pause it, for a while, just sit with it, let those thoughts go, um, and give them thought, but not decision. You don't have to make decisions.
No, I don't want to
Um,
have to make a
yeah,
decision now.
no, you don't need to make decisions. Um,
Well, I just had fun idea. I could be
mhm,
like a sort of like a product owner, a product manager. That's what kind of people do when they're
mm,
done with the technical part of it.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
I've had a few like colleagues who did that. Like they used to be developers, and when they
yeah.
switched to being managers, and that could be a good
Okay,
idea. And
yeah,
that's like a
yeah,
little bit more interactive.
yeah. Okay, okay. And would it be more stressful? Do you think?
I don't even know.
Mm,
It could be.
yeah, yeah. But it's a thought.
Yeah,
It,
it's
it,
only a thought, and when I could actually ask one of those people,
yeah, yeah.
because I still have like their contacts for some of them. So how it was. And,
Yeah. Yeah, but
but
it's important. It's important that you keep the stress out of making a decision.
yeah,
That you
like
keep.
I thought about contacting them straight away, but then I thought, no, I'll just wait for a while.
Yeah, just give it some thought. You know, you can always you can look into it without making any huge decisions on it. Um, until you're ready, until you feel you're ready, and maybe you might find that that's not right for you at all. Or having looked into it, it's not, and you might want something else. Um,
Yeah, it could be like that. It's
mhm,
just I don't really
mhm,
want to talk to anyone about that, not straight away. Like,
mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, how do you think your mental health is, Andrew? You know, how are your thoughts? You know, there's a lot filled with travel and
yeah,
such.
I actually feel like, you know, a lot more energetic than I was.
Okay.
As I had like enough energy to mop the floors and still need to
Mhm.
cut the grass. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I do feel that traveling helps me like feel
Yeah.
a lot better than I used to be because
Yeah.
I have a lot of new things to see and it was so interesting in Paris like
Yeah.
in the
Of course.
catacombs because they
Yeah.
actually had lots of bones there like in Rome
Oh,
they removed all the bones.
yeah. And they're in Paris. Wow, how interesting.
Yeah,
That's something I'd like to see.
and some of them are
And
like carefully arranged like they have like for example in
yeah,
one room they have like a sort of something like that looks like a barrel but it's made of bones and they give you like an audio
wow,
guide so you can listen to it and learn about it a little bit.
yeah, yeah. And what is the idea behind them? What is
Well,
the
the
whole
idea
idea?
that the cemeteries were full and they were just looking to kind of to reuse the space in the cemeteries and they removed all
Wow,
the old bones something like
yeah,
outside of the city.
wow, wow. That's so. When you think about it, it's so strange.
It is, it is bizarre.
Yeah, it is a bit bizarre. You can imagine. I mean, in this day and age, can in Ireland, them saying, "Okay, and they do. We're short of space in graveyards.
Yes,
Um,
let's remove all
let's
the
take
older
the bones off."
grays.
Yeah, yeah. Anybody's that are over like a century old, over we remove them. My God, we'd have a referendum on it. You know,
Probably.
it would be. We probably would. Um, but it's so interesting to find that information. It really is. And how do you find when you're out among people? How is your confidence, your anxiety around that?
Well, yeah, it was totally fine like in Paris
Mm, mm. Yeah,
because I didn't really have to interact with anyone. Yeah, I felt
yeah,
better. Yeah, I definitely feel better there when I'm feeling here
yeah,
because I found out that like in Carlo and like like I went to that involvement center and then I went to a few different places and then like everywhere
yeah.
I go I can meet someone who I know and
Okay,
that kind of causes a little bit of anxiety and in
yeah.
Paris obviously that's
That's less,
yeah
less
that's
likely to
that's
happen. Yeah.
that won't happen.
So, what is it about the meeting people? Let's have a look at that. That you know, or that I suppose if you turn it, that people that know you.
Yeah,
Um, what is it about that that makes you anxious?
I don't really know. I suppose just the feeling that
Mhm.
sometimes I feel so embarrassed that like my career isn't really going very well and then
Mhm.
I kind of go for like having a lot of money to having no money and I feel a little bit
Mhm.
embarrassed about that.
Mhm. Mhm. And do you find yourself having to explain that, or maybe answer questions? Is it questions that they may ask? In all innocence, they may be just asking how it's going.
Yeah, it could be like some
Mm.
uncomfortable questions and
Mhm.
yeah it's It's a bit strange. Like,
You've frozen a little bit.
uh,
Oh,
you know,
no, you're back. You're back. Okay, you said it's a little bit strange.
yeah, like for example, there is like a free canteen here in Carlo, that I go to
Hmm.
sometimes, and
Hmm.
yeah, it feels a bit weird. You know, like
Yeah,
one day you're in Paris and day you're
and the
there.
next day. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there's a little bit of, is it shame that's
Yeah,
associated with that?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Something that I probably shouldn't be using that.
yeah, yeah. Because the shame, that word even is other people's words. You know that you're you're living your life as you want, and that you're getting better and you're healing and you're enjoying the part of life that you have now found in travel. So there really is no shame associated with, in that, let's say, that bubble. So
Mm.
the idea of shame is your perception of what other people think, or maybe words that you have been told.
Yeah, it has to be something
Yeah.
about that.
And for as long as we keep reminding or telling ourselves that our behavior is shameful, we're keeping your past life, we're keeping that alive. You're giving strength to, let's say, your mother's words. You're giving her words strength, and you're telling yourself the same story. So you're keeping your past words alive, or you're thinking of what other people might think of you. So you're giving them words, and you're then putting. Usually, we take our past words that have been said to us as we were growing up, and we almost project them to other people.
Oh, like
And then,
attribute them to.
hmm?
So
Say,
could we like attribute those words to those people?
yes, we
Just
do. Yeah, the attribute exactly, and that we hear these words then coming back. That's what the picture looks like. That's in your head. You can see it happening like that. But realistically, it is your words. It's your words. It's my words. It's your own words. You're the one that's keeping the story alive.
yeah, it's
And
difficult.
yeah,
It's actually a lot
Heather,
easier not to keep it alive when I'm away.
yeah, absolutely. And knowing that you're the one that's keeping it alive also gives you the strength and the feeling of control. Well, if I'm repeating these words that were said by my mother or whatever, then if I'm repeating them and I'm choosing to repeat them, I can choose not to.
Yeah, I found out that I'm kind of more aware of what's happening now
Yeah,
than
yeah.
I used to
And
be.
that awareness. Um, and sometimes I would have clients who, when they hear the voices, and I don't mean they hear voices, but the voice of doubt or shame or guilt or being less than, when that comes into their head and they have that awareness that these are not my words, this is not me, this is my mother, my father, my partner, these are their words, that in their head, some of them will give that voice a name. So you give it the name of whoever the person was. So say Mary, and some of them will actually say "f off, Mary." It's a it's a it's just a physical or you put words to it, you put substance to it, and you actually nearly picture the person, and they will say "f off, Mary." I don't want to hear your words. They're
Mm,
not mine.
it's
And
true.
it breaks the trigger. When you go into that automatic place of thinking, say you're in a crowd, and as you've described before, where you mightn't have anything to say, you mightn't have anything interesting to say. But looking from my side, you have tons of interest. You have lots to say. You have lots of stories.
I hope
The
so.
person
Yeah,
that's Yeah, the person that's telling you you have nothing to say isn't you. It's probably your mother.
it has to be. It couldn't be
Yeah,
really anyone
yeah.
else.
And no, it's nobody else. So
And
that's
actually,
when,
like, she would actually tell me something that like I shouldn't travel, but I shouldn't spend money on that before like I buy an apartment.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can still hear that voice.
You can still hear it. Yeah. And it's in these, I mean, that's a guilt and uh, very much a guilt thing. I should have something more tangible that travel is almost frivolous. It's
Yeah, that's
this,
exactly how she described it. That like I was chasing like like some
yeah,
entertainment and
entertainment. Exactly. When you and I and most people will say travel is one of the most exciting, knowledgeable, growth fulfilled part of anybody's life. You will hear people say, he never travels because, so excuse me, he never traveled. So therefore, he's not as knowledgeable, he's not as worldly. So how on earth do you learn about cultures and how to interact with other people and how other people live and history and geography unless you travel? So,
and my mother's never been anywhere, so
I
it's
mean,
not
well,
exactly. Well,
yeah,
she would know what she actually
she wouldn't
means.
know. No. So you can logically work out that why your mother would say that and how ridiculous it sounds, and how unworldly
And
word that she actually her words were. And it's at that point you go, well, okay, Mary, F off.
it's actually very
There you go,
close to my
words.
mother's name. Like
Okay,
she's called Marina, so
Marina.
that's
Okay, so you
close.
say F off, Marina, with
Yeah.
all the greatest respect I'm giving to your mother. F off. Well, they're not your words. So when you feel the trigger, Andrew, coming into your head of I have less to say, and you already recognize this isn't my thoughts, this is from my past. Don't keep it alive.
Like what she would say like get two jobs and maybe a job like on the weekend and then save up for an apartment and then maybe in 20 years you can travel when you
Yeah.
have bought it.
When you have lots of money in the bank and you're 20 years older, and we can all look and go, how ridiculous. The time to travel is when you're fit and healthy and you have the energy and you're
Exactly
young.
like
Yeah, yeah, you do it, and you do it in 20 years time too. um, and
yeah.
it's about living your life how you want to, not how other people think you should. um,
And when like she actually like has an apartment, but like would I be happy if I had it? No,
yeah,
probably not.
probably not. No, probably not. And there is a very a lot of let's say strength is given to, if you're not living authentically, if you're not living your true self, you will never be happy.
Yeah, I guess so. That's true. And
Yeah,
traveling makes me happy.
on traveling. Yeah.
Like I remembered that, like when I was in Rome, I remembered the time in London. I was kind of renting a room in a place that had a swimming pool, and like at 8 o'clock, I was actually the only one going for a swim, and I just
Yeah.
remember that feeling like that I was there like in that swimming pool, and I was so excited because I had like a whole day of traveling ahead of me.
A whole day ahead. Yeah.
And
And see how that feeling of excitement, even though to somebody else that, I don't know, buying a fancy car might give that to them, but something as simple as going out and experiencing all of this newness made you so excited, and
yeah,
how fulfilled you are. If you think back to when you were a young child, your old name, your old everything that's past, if you hadn't changed and become the person you are, Andrew, you would be living unauthentically, wouldn't you? You wouldn't be living your
you,
true self.
that's true. I
So
wouldn't
yeah,
actually.
you wouldn't be. Um, so the same goes for the simple things like traveling and like not having an apartment and so what. But the simple things, it doesn't have to be the huge life changing experiences that you have gone through. Or if you were still back in your old country,
Oh
in the
God.
old country. Oh God, see, if you had, so
Oh
you
yeah.
are,
I actually wanted to show you like that passport. I
show
have
me.
now here. You
Oh,
see,
you
it
have it.
looks almost like one.
Yeah,
And
perfect.
here it also looks like, well, almost like. We have a map here. I have a
Yeah,
hub, but it doesn't matter. All of it looks almost
that's
like.
very like, that's
Yeah.
very like the one I have.
I've seen them. As you
The,
can
the,
imagine, I had a lot
yeah,
of time to look at them.
to look at them. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
You know,
But
like
now
like
you,
you, like when Ryanair asks you to
yeah,
board, and when you end up like waiting for 40 minutes in that queue.
and you're looking at everybody's.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I
So
was
you
actually
can,
kind of upset, you know, that it wasn't exactly the same as everybody
it's
else's.
exactly the same.
But
Yeah.
when I talked to my friend and she said, "Look, it actually has like island written on it."
Yeah, yeah. And I didn't realize that yours would be, is it navy or a
Yeah,
dark
it
blue?
is. It
I
is
didn't,
navy. Yeah.
yeah. So if I saw you in the queue, I would assume that yours is the newer version, that I have to have mine changed in, I think it's 2025, and that I will get a blue. I didn't realize that there was a difference at
Oh
all.
yeah,
And it isn't. It's, I know to you, it's a small, it's a difference.
it is. Yeah.
Um, you know,
But you
but
know, like Ryanair employees actually didn't realize that, so that's why I changed my nationality by ending up, and
yeah,
no one
yeah.
told me anything.
And no one said anything other than, so if you look at all the simple little things that you've put in place that make you live more authentically, and you're more Irish, and you're more Andrew Donnelly than anything, and you have to keep putting, you have to keep boosting that, you have to keep investing in who you actually want to be. And if we
It's
don't do
true.
that, if we don't do that, it leads to depression and all of those other, we're living a half life.
But it's true. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So whatever it is that makes you happy, and you know, makes you feel as if you're investing 100% into what you want, that's what you do. You can't live by somebody else's words, or you know, the expectations of society. We can't do that. There's certain things, yeah, sure, you have to pay your bills, you know, you have to look after your apartment, you have to keep yourself clean, you have to present yourself, you have to do certain things. But inside, you have to fulfill. It's like that triangle, like Maslow's hierarchy. If you look on that and you look at the list of things that are in it, and how important they are to you, and if they're being fulfilled, or are you only, is your glass, you know, down here, or is it up there? And if something is important to you, and you're, it's only, you know, the level of the glass is low, is half, is a third full, when you need it up here, that can make you unhappy. You know, it can make you dissatisfied, and you may not even realize why. Um, so if you know, if having fun is important to you, meeting people is important to you,
Because it is.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, uh, you know, to other people it may not. Their more important thing could be quiet time, you know, time on their own.
I
Um,
think I've had too much time on my own.
you've had, yeah. So people are different, and we require our glasses to be full or emptier in different areas. Um,
And then it's also kind of different, you know, people like Tom, they like to kind of, you know, go out and socialize, like, right where they are, like in his village. And to me, like, the idea of spending, like, a Saturday in Carlo would be kind of really depressing. And
yeah,
I would prefer to spend it in Paris or somewhere. And
yeah,
I don't really go out here because I think it would be boring. And I don't
yeah,
want to waste money on it.
yeah, exactly. So, you know, that's somebody else's idea, trying to push their ideas or their needs onto you, because they think, well, I'm happy with them, so therefore you should be happy with them. But that's not necessarily true. You know,
No, it's not.
I'm not a serious, I love people, I love company, but going to a seriously wild party does not interest me at all. At all. I'd rather go out with, two or three people, have a couple of glasses of wine, nice meal, and then come home. And that gives me that fills my glass for maybe the week, until,
Oh,
and that's
yeah, I
enough.
know.
You know what I mean? Or a couple of
Yes.
weeks.
Yeah, I see
So
what you mean.
different. We all require, even though people have said to me, "Why don't you go down to town and join in with these people?" And that's I don't want to. I don't need that.
That's what how I felt when I was kind of browsing for Korea and when I read all those descriptions, like like our house is surrounded by nature, and I thought, God, I want to be surrounded by buildings and houses. I want to be in the city.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Isn't it funny? Um, and it's lovely to see that you know exactly what you need.
Well, you
Some
see,
people,
like I always wanted to try living in a house, and that's why I
mhm,
rented it. And
yeah,
then, like, it's been almost 3 years now, and I realized
yeah,
now I probably would be much better off in a city,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like in
We're
an apartment, and I don't really have to have a house.
no, no, no. You don't. I mean, even the two cats are fine. They
Yeah, give Rose for a little bit. I think give Rose for a second and refreshed.
okay. You're back.
Yes, I'm back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, and you can hear me. Okay,
yes, I
good.
can hear.
Okay, okay. I don't know what's going on there. Yeah. So it's getting to know yourself, and you're doing that. You know where you'd like to live. You know that you like what fulfills your needs. Um, so the voices, the natural voices that you hear, or the voice of this woman that you hear in your head, they're her ideas. They were never yours.
No.
Um,
And to be honest, I can't really imagine like having two jobs and all that.
mhm. No, no, you know, um,
And
and but it,
imagine if I spent like 20 years doing two jobs.
mhm,
I
mhm.
definitely wouldn't like feel happy.
No, 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 and you'd suffer from depression worse than you ever had. You'd suffer from anxiety, um, health problems, physical health problems, mental health problems, everything. But it is so important for you to now to be able to separate her voice from yours, her thoughts
Yes,
and her ideals from yours. And I know that when you feel the trigger, it's difficult to stand in a crowd and go, okay, somebody was telling me that I had nothing to say. And then the other side is saying, but Andrew, you know you have lots to say because you have all these experiences.
it's true.
So
It's just,
so for the moment, even as just as a start pushing that voice out. Don't keep it alive anymore. Because every time you go to it and you think over what her words were, you give it life. You throw light on it and it lets it grow another little bit. So you literally have to almost physically put up your hand and say, stop. No more. No
yeah,
more.
I know. I'll, yeah, I'll try that. I'm kind of
Just
trying to
it's
do it as well.
yeah,
Now that I'm
yeah,
aware of it.
yeah. And awareness is sometimes it's the biggest step. Um but it is hard to do. But the more you do it, the weaker her voice gets and the stronger yours. Um, Not saying that at moments hers will creep back in and it'll shout even louder, but that's when you have to fight it even stronger.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
I'm
it's easier to fight it now that
yeah,
I
yeah,
actually that like past, but like has been a lifesaver.
yeah, yeah. And if you think to 4 or 5 months ago how strong that voice was, even though you might not have been thinking about it too much, it was in there and it was shouting. and now look how strong yours is getting. So the balance is tipping in your favor more and more and more, or the scale is tipping in your favor. Um,
Yeah, I hope that it is.
yeah,
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 it's happening
it
actually.
is. It is. So you're home now until when?
Until the 11th. Like,
The, the 11th of May.
yes, it's
Oh my God. And where do you go then?
to Berlin.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
feel like I'm doing all the capitals.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow. Yeah. And how long are you going to be able to go there for?
Or just like, well, 6 days.
6 days is good. That's a good break.
And then on the 25th it's Brussels. And then I'll organize something else.
Yeah. And how are you getting on with your lodger, the lady staying with the little boy?
Oh, well, it's okay. She gave me a lift to the bed yesterday.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
think it's
that's useful.
fine. It
Yeah.
just, yeah, like, she hasn't really done like any housework, and I've been doing it all on my own. And I
Ah,
was wondering if I should say something, or if I shouldn't, because I don't really feel like I want to say anything.
yeah. Okay. Okay. It probably would be a good idea for maybe you to tentatively approach that subject. Um, while you were away, was there cleaning done?
No, like I came
No.
back and I still have some to do.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
cleaned the
Oh,
kitchen yesterday, but didn't really have any energy like on Wednesday.
yeah.
And I have
Yeah.
like the weekend ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe it would be a good idea, maybe to even do how would you feel, let's say, about saying, okay, now that there's two of us, um, maybe we should do kind of a rota thing with the cleaning. What do you think? Um,
Yeah,
you
it's,
because
it's just
you
I'm not exactly like the right person to
yeah,
say it.
yeah, yeah. I
Maybe I
know
could
that,
get to the point where I will feel
yeah,
doing it.
yeah, I would. I'd just say, oh God, this house is huge. The cleaning is can take so much time. How about we do a rota so neither of us end up having to spend a day at it? Um, that that means you're aware that she might have to spend a day and you might have to spend a day, but neither of you want to do that. Um, I don't think that is unreasonable. In
No,
fact, I
it's
know it's
not.
not.
Of
It's
course
not.
not.
No. So something like that. How about what's the lady's name?
Marcella.
Marcella. How about Marcella that we do kind of a rota for cleaning so both of us aren't left with a day's work in front of us, or neither of us are left with a day's work. Um,
And
so we
then,
can just keep on top of it. That's all. And that's not saying that you're doing all the work or that she's doing all the work. It's acknowledging that there's, even if she's not doing anything at the moment, you're giving her, the consideration that, well, maybe you are doing something. So you're not blaming her. So something like that is, how about we do a rota so we're not stuck cleaning all day, either of us. Um, did she say how long she would be with you, or
no, I guess she told me she wanted to move to Gori like after she gets her
yeah,
hub, and then she obviously has to find something
yeah,
there.
yeah. So that could take quite a while.
Yeah, I guess it would.
Yeah, it would. And while the rent that she or the money she's paying you is helping, you certainly don't want to be taking on all of the housework.
Oh,
Um,
no.
yeah,
Imagine
no,
it takes like 3 hours to cut all the bloody grass.
yeah,
But,
yeah.
but then I can't really imagine how she could do that like with a baby.
No,
No, I
no,
don't.
but
I
she
don't mind the
certainly,
bloody. I don't mind the
yeah,
grass.
yeah. She could certainly do some of the pick up on the
Yeah.
housework, while you're doing the grass. Um, I would try do your best with trying to broach that subject before you go to Berlin,
Yeah.
and definitely before it gets to the point where the house is a complete mess, and that you're doing it all the time. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, it could be
you
quite.
she, you know, you were good enough to allow her to come stay. I'm sure she appreciates it, and
And
it's the only
you,
place she has.
like I had two spare bedrooms, and I said like she could use both because she
Yeah,
has lots of stuff,
yeah.
and that's
So
kind of a really good deal. Like,
absolutely, absolutely, it's a very good deal. So again, this is the thought in your head now. What suits you, and what suits you is you need her to help you clean, to keep on top of the stuff. She has a baby, so that's, that can be a mess in itself. So she should be
yes,
doing more. She should be doing more than you, to be fair. So it's not disrespectful. It's not conflict. It's not, you're not starting any kind of an argument.
no,
You're standing up for yourself, and your house. This is your apartment. You don't want, you have inspections every so often, don't you, from your landlord? So
yes,
you need to keep on top of
and
things.
like it's a 3 bedroom house, and it's a
Yeah,
huge, like where
that's a
is
big
it?
house to clean. Yeah, it's a
Yes,
big place to clean for one person. It's a big place to clean.
but
So
then
for sure.
it wouldn't get too messy like if I was here
Oh
on my own.
no, exactly. Um, so you don't want people taking advantage of you. Um, and maybe we give her the benefit of the doubt and say, okay, you just don't, you're not aware that the place needs to be cleaned so much, or that you expect it to be of a certain standard. um so yeah, try say it to her before it gets too much out of hand, or that time goes on and there's kind of a pattern built up, and then it's more difficult to say. um if you even, yeah, I think the best way is to just say, "Hey, Marcella, just thinking, before the housework gets on top of either of us, maybe we should have a rota, or a day where both of us work together. That's something like that. What do you think?" So you're open for her to give you opinions, um, and you're not starting a row.
Yeah, well, I'll see if I can
Yeah,
muster up enough
yeah,
courage to
yeah.
say that.
Do your best. Do your best. But before you know it, the 11th, sure, it's the 5th already. The 11th will come around, and you'll be heading to Brussels,
I know to Berlin.
or to Berlin, should I say? Berlin first, and then Brussels. Okay, okay. So when do I see you again? Will you be in?
Still here, like on the
You'll
9th.
still be here. Okay, okay, okay. And then the following one, you'll probably be in Berlin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we'll talk to you before you go. All right.
Thanks, Tish.
Okay.
Have a good
Have a good
day.
day, Andrew. Bye bye. Bye bye.